Recording in progress.
What's going on, YouTube? Back again with another video. Today we're going to look at Sofi, Lyft, and still looking at QUBT. Alright, it's going to be a quick video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so let's look at Lyft first. Alright, let's see what this thing has been doing. So, okay, so I was in Lyft calls at about $22. I was in the $22 call, and this sucker completely dumped on me. All right, gave me a little pump fake, and then whoop, all the way down. So I did exit with a pretty big loss. I held on to the trade a lot longer than I should have. 30% is what I lost, and truthfully, 30% is what I go for on my stop loss anyway. But where I messed up was I over leveraged. I had like 14 contracts, and I think I was in for like $3,500 on that play. But my account size at the time was only like 10,000. So I'm using like 30% of my account, to trade with at that time, and that was not the way to do that. I was very confident in the play, still confident that Lyft is definitely going to $30. It's going to go back to 23, then 26, then 30. But I had the time frame wrong, so I went ahead and I guess went all in, so to speak, and that's what really messed me up. So another lesson learned. But here we are on a daily chart, looking at the 200 moving average as support, and we are holding as of now. We're also at 1761, which is also a key level of support. But right now we don't have a clear sign of which way we're going until we break 1920 or fall below 1761. So right now I'm holding on Lyft. I re-entered, cut my losses, and I re-entered. I have the June expirations. I have 2 contracts right now. I don't plan to add another contract. I plan to hold this until we hit 1920 and potentially break and return to 20. Or I'll cut my losses below 1751. Okay. If we look at it on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we have been holding this support level. We did break above 1858, okay, back on the 22nd, but then we got rejected here off the 50 MA. So what I want to see happen, and we're already gapping up pre-market, which is a good sign. Yesterday we did break above the 20 MA on the 4-hour, but we ended up falling back. But I like this green candle here, and I like this inverted hammer, this right here. All right, that's a good signal for us that we could at least return back to 1829. Hopefully we can break this level and return to 1858, break that level, and if we can break 1858, we will see 1920. All right, so those are my thoughts on Lyft. If you have dry powder, I would buy shares. Lyft could definitely pump and dump. All right, so I'm looking to get out of this quick. All right, the 4-hour time frame has been oversold. All right, for the better part of the first few weeks of this year. All right, so we've just been dumping. So it's due for a correction. This correction may only go back to 20 before it dumps again, and then it could very well go down to 16. if we, like I said before, if we lose 17.51, I'm getting out because it's a good chance we're going to 16. And then from there, we got, we can go all the way down to $11 if we're not careful. And I'm not trying to hold through that type of a drawdown, especially with the way the stock has been moving, the way the whole market has been moving, really. All right, so moving on, SoFi. Okay, SoFi, we got our signal here. All right, that was back on the 5th. All right, we waited for the pullback, got a green candle, entered and sold. Okay, I bought some puts, made money on puts, bought some calls, and actually lost a little bit on some calls. But anyway, we've been trending down. We've been trending down. Okay, we can see it. Fix this. All this stuff is in my way. Get out the way. All right. So we were trending down. Okay, on the 4-hour. We broke trend back here a few days ago. All right, and we've been consolidating. So I'm expecting for this to blow off of 26. All right, and get us back to 27, 22, which could potentially lead us to getting back up to 29.64, or we could retest 25. All right, now I have, I believe, excuse me, 2 to 3 contracts with SoFi. 3 contracts. My average is 263 on the $26 call for, what is this, the March 20th expiration. Okay, $26 call, March expiration, March 20th expiration. Currently down 11% on SoFi. Oh, and let me give you my average on Lyft too. Lyft, I have an average of 350, and that's the July 17th call. I am down 10% on Lyft right now. Let's see here. I have my take profit set at 345 on SoFi as far as my contract price, which will be a 30% return. All right. So with SoFi, below $25, I'm out. Okay, I'm not adding in any more contracts. I gotta keep my sizes with the correct amount and not over leverage again. All right, so we are still looking pretty good though. Been oversold. All right, hit support, had a nice reaction. Okay, boop 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 boop, and we broke through this trend line. We're consolidating now, which is expected. So between now and Monday of next week, we should expect a big move. Plus, earnings is coming up for SoFi. Let's see, earnings are expected on the 30th. All right, so that is Friday. So Friday, let me see. I don't know if that's before the market opens or after it closes. I have to double check. But we will check that out, and I'll put that in the chat in the Discord. But SoFi's another one. It's a good time to buy shares as well. If you want to grab shares, now would be a good time. QUBT, another one that is good to grab shares, down to 1084 right now. I have some shares in my small account. think I have like 11 shares. Not a lot. Yeah, I have 11 shares. My average price is $12.28. I'm down 10% on QUBT right now. Also have BM&R shares. My average is 28.32 on BM&R. Right now the price is at 27.98, so I'm down 1% on BM&R. All my stuff's down except for Meta right now. Meta's up like 5 or 6%. We got 5%. And that's the only thing I got that's green right now. But that's all right. At one point, everything was green and didn't take profit. So that's what happens. So what are we watching here? Well, it looks like QUBT wants to go ahead and reject. That's what it looked like it has done. So we're definitely going to be looking to retest 950. Let's go ahead and mark this off here. So we're going to retest 950. We'll see what happens at 950. If we lose 950, be headed back down to 570 and then $4. Hopefully that's not the case, but even if it is, we'll continue to buy it down as it goes. Looking at the weekly is already pretty low. We're still above the 1 month 20, so that's a good thing. All right, so if we fall below 947, then we will be more than likely taking puts on QUBT to hedge against our losses, but not until then. Let me see. Yeah, so we have a little bit more to go. We could go ahead and grab puts here, but I would rather see it test 1185. So if you want to play, here's a play for you. QUBT puts. All right, if we reject 1185, because we will come back up, we will push back up. If you look here, the 30-minute, we do have a crossover here. But this is not going with the trend, guys. All right, I would not take calls on QUBT right now. All right, remember what I always say. We play the levels. All right, that would be 947 and 1232. All right, we don't play in between the levels. All right, you could even play this zone between 1283 and 1332. But up in here, all you're gonna get is a bunch of fake outs. All right, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that, you're gonna get this. You see that? All these little moves. Okay, you can't really make a whole lot of money doing that, but you can lose a lot. So what I want to see is for this thing to come down to 947, and once it bounces, then we could look at taking calls and have our stop loss set below 947. Or if it breaks, we could wait for a retest, and if it rejects 947, we know it's going back down. Then we go ahead and jump in some puts and take it to 579. All right, or we wait for it to hit 1332. Once it hits 1332, we wait to take puts all the way back down. Or if it breaks 1332, we wait for it to break, retest, come back up, then we will take calls above 1283 or 1327. All right, but the play that you could do, and like I said, this is like more of a day trade thing. If you want to do this, you could on the 30-minute, you could potentially wait for the 30-minute to become overbought, okay, and reject off this 200 MA. And if it does that and it starts to head back down, and you're overbought on the 30-minute time frame, you could try to scalp that back down to 1074 and possibly 947. But I would not swing trade that, because what's going to happen is it'll probably reject, come down, and then the next day it's going to go right back up. Okay? So don't get caught slipping. Don't overstay your welcome. Get your money, get in, get out. Make sure that you are putting your winnings away into safe, slower moving, not high volatile stocks. All right, like QUBT, like NVII, BMNR, NVIDIA. Apple is down right now. Meta is a good one, but Meta is actually a lot more volatile, but Meta's still a good one to have. Riot is a good one. Carnival is another good one. Let's see what else. Palantir is a good one. PLTR is a good one. It's down to 167 right now. It was at 207, so that's on sale right now. Those are all good stocks to look at. Webull is a good one. Hood is a good one. Of course, AMD, NVIDIA are all good as well. Apple is on its way back up. It bounced off of 246, and here we are at 258. So Apple's another one. You see how this doesn't change. All right, we do the same thing from stock to stock, guys. Look at this. I've had these levels marked off, guys. You see, I'm just searching through stocks, and this is what you do, man. You see, I have my levels, I have my alerts marked off. I wasn't able to catch Apple. I was working, I believe, and I missed the retest here, but. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here, guys. So we reject off the 200 MA. We're on a 4-hour time frame. Higher time frame gives you a stronger conviction. Okay, you have more data. All right, so we reject, and where do we go? We go right back down to support. All right, and then what? We consolidate. We consolidate. If you've been rocking with me for any time, for some time now, you long enough, you should have seen me show you guys that this is something that stays consistent with big moves. Okay, we have a big move and then we consolidate. All right, once it consolidates, what does it do? It makes a big move, boom, all the way down. It did this in 2 days, guys. 2 days, it went from 259 to 246. 2 days. All right, then what do? We consolidate it again. All right, and not only that, but remember how I said we want to wait for it to come down to this area of interest or support, and then we want to see what it does. We don't want to just buy it because it's here. We want to see what it does, because it could have kept going. All right, look at that. It went to 243. That's a whole $3 from 246. Like, that's a lot of money. All right, now what happened was it faked everybody out, and it came and retested. All right, trapped a whole bunch of sellers here, and then took off. All right, so we could have taken this trade. We could have definitely taken this trade. All right, and had our stop loss set below 244. Okay, and I will be looking to sell up here at 259 and hold runners past that, because you're probably going to go to 268. All right, because that's what we do. That's what we do, man. We go from the 200, we fall, and we come back to the 200. So mark my words, that's what's going to happen. That's what's happened in the past. See, let's show you. All right, support close to the 200, goes back to resistance. All right, resistance, and guess what? Right back down to the 200. All right, support. It goes up, 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 up. And when it's done going up, guess what it does? It comes right back down to the 200. Again, back up to resistance, back down to the 200. And once it crosses the 200, we're going down. Okay? So, I would not buy calls on Apple just yet. This would have been the time to buy. Okay. Now we have to wait and see what happens here at 259. If we can break 259 and have this same little thing happen here where we break, consolidate, all right, retest, and then go. Then we hop in. We hold it until 269, 268. If it rejects, we sell. If it breaks, we sell one and hold the other and let it run to 288. All right. Apple calls, Apple puts are super expensive if you don't know that. They're very, very expensive, especially to get good ones that are far out. So I mainly scalp Apple when I do trade Apple. Now, I usually get like a 5 day out or 7 days out, and I'll just day trade it. Okay, that's all I got for you guys, man. I hope this helps. Hope you learned something. Make sure you have these stocks on your radar, and make sure you like and subscribe. Join the Discord. The link is down below in the description. All right, until next time, God bless you and your families.